Have you ever wanted to start a podcast but don't know what it takes? Well, you're lucky because today I'm going to show you a behind the scenes look on what it takes to podcast like Josh. In episode 36 of Tech with Josh, titled Running a Full Tech Workflow Alone, the reality no one shows. So let's dive in. What do you first need? Well, you need gear. You can seriously start with just a smartphone. You can record audio on a free app like your voice recorder app, and that's basically all you need because it has a built-in mic, right? Well, yes, but what I would recommend is a decent mic, a stand as well, or a boom arm, and also a capture device. What is a capture device? It can be your laptop, it could be your phone, it could be a tablet. Nowadays, we all use USB-C. So let's talk about my setup. My setup is overkill. I don't recommend starting out with this setup. For my microphone, I'm using a Shure SM7B. It's like a $500 microphone, and it uses SLR, which is an interface. With this mic, you need external power, so I have a cloud lifter, to give it more power, and then I have a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 interface. And I have that plugged into my MacBook Pro 16-inch at the moment, but I can also plug into my iPhone, my iPad, or my Galaxy Fold. What I would recommend, also, I have a Rode mic arm. It's like $120. If you want to get a decent mic, I've heard good things about the Maono PD200W. Maono is MAONO, then PD200W. Doesn't break the bank. You can get it under 100. They do sell kits with like a stand or arm. Runs XLR, it runs wirelessly, or runs USB-C, so it's great. Honestly, good thing. Also, USB-C. You don't need XLR. It's going to cost you more than the cable. Like the cable I'm running right now is like a $50 cable as well. So that's your gear. Now, how do you record? Like I said, you can record on voice notes on your actual device. That can work. There is a free software on Mac and Windows and Linux called Audacity. It's completely free to record audio. Or if you have Mac OS or iOS, you can actually use what's called GarageBand. It's free from Apple, and you can actually record audio that way as well. Audacity is free to use on any platform, and honestly, it's why I used to record this, even though I have access to Logic and GarageBand. So that's your software. You can edit on Audacity as well. Me, personally, I use Ferrite because I like the interface on the iPad. It's a paid app. You don't have to use it once again. Just want to make sure you know this. I'm not sponsored by any of this. I'm just telling you what I use. And you need hosting. I have my own site, booksbyjosh.com, so I can actually host my podcast on there. I run 3 podcasts through there. So that's not a problem for me. But what if you don't have a domain because you need a domain, you need to have site, pay for hosting, things like that? Well, you can use free things. You can actually use Spotify for creators. If you want to just be on Spotify, which is a big podcast platform, you can just use Spotify for creators and upload the MP3 files there or the videos directly on there. That's completely fine and free. Or you can use RSS.com for free podcast hosting. You can find hundreds of sites online, but I'm using a site that I create, booksbyjosh.com, and I have it through Squarespace. And that's all you need. Simple, right? But what goes through Josh's workflow? How does Josh create? That's what you're here for. So, I run 3 podcasts. Let's start with Tech with Josh. Right now, this is episode 36. So, when I formulate a topic for episode, it's based on current events. By current events, I mean phone launches, big news in tech space, like Let's say when the iPhone Ultra gets announced, I'll do an episode based on that. Or if there's certain tech topics that have to be spoken about, like the trifold. How I told everybody, hey, it's going to be discontinued. I don't think you should buy it. And that's what happened. So when certain current events take precedent or a big phone announcement gets announced, I give my 2 cents on it. It could be new Macs, new iPads, anything. But there's also times I want to talk about certain devices. Like last episode was a more of a retrospective episode on a HTC phone, the Pocket PC 6800, because I mentioned it 6 episodes prior to episode 29. So sometimes I reference old episodes. But the main thing is you want to make sure you plan. Have a notes document and plan out a couple episodes. Or you can actually use AI. You tell it, hey, I'm doing a podcast. This is my niche. A niche is a category you are in. So with this podcast, I'm in the tech sector. Mostly computers, mostly phones, sometimes application or creative suites. So you find your niche and you say, hey, I'm in this niche. Give me some great ideas. Prime example, for this podcast episode, I had no clue what I was going to talk about because there hasn't been any big announcements in tech other than like Tim Cook stepping down, things like that. So I said, hey, give me some ideas. And some of the ideas are living with the M4 Pro MacBook Pro. So that would have been a 1 to 3 minute episode. It's like it works great, does everything I needed. And another idea they gave me is the Mac Mini still worth it in 2026? Which would have been a great episode because they just discontinued the base model. But I chose to go with this. Talk about my full tech workflow alone because I'm doing a Books by Josh episode on running everything alone. So let's talk more about my other podcast. So Manga with Josh is my smaller podcast. I just recorded episode 20 on that. And with that one, that's all me for the topics because I read manga a lot. So when I find a manga that resonates with me, especially the newer ones, I write them down to get information on it and actually do an episode on it. And here's the thing. I don't script these. I can't read off a script just based on how I work. So I get bullet points. So with the Manga with Josh, is more research based on how many volumes sold, the reader base, reception, awards, things like that. So I have that to refer to. For Tech with Josh, I have notes for certain things I want to talk about. Like here, the gear, software, and hosting. I have that as bullet points, and that's it. Or if there's a new phone out, I have the specs up there. For Books by Josh, that one is just me ranting for 20 minutes. So that's the main thing is you want to have a topic. You want to find out your work style. You might be able to read off a script. You might actually be able to free flow like I do. But find your voice and do that. So let's go back into the Books by Josh now. That one is more about my brand for all of the books I've written, my blog posts, my philosophy, and life updates because life happens. So with that, for my topics is basically anything currently happening to me, things I've experienced, or a quote I heard online or read or seen. And sometimes it's just business advice because I do run a business behind all of this. But now that you record it, now that you host it and edit, what do you do with it? You publish and you have to build a following. You can run ads, you can do social media. You have to find out a way to put yourself out there because no one's going to listen to you if you don't have an audience. But you also have to be SEO friendly, search engine optimized, with your descriptions, your episode titles, the subtitle. You also need to have great show notes. So with this, I use AI because a description I used to write maybe 150, 300 word description, short and not really care. But now with the current modern age, I'm using AI to give me show notes based on the transcript. So I actually use an iHeart app called Free Podcast Transcription. And it's on device, so nothing leaves your device. And you put in the MP3 file, and it gives you a SRT file, a subtitle file that transcribes your podcast. And you can run that through AI, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and say, hey, this is a transcript for my podcast. I need show notes. I need a description for this episode. Can you help me out with that? And they'll give it to you. So that's one of the ways it helps you. And you might be asking, how do you make money? Well, that's the thing. You're not going to make money right away. Right now, I'm not making any money from the podcast unless somebody goes and buys a book I wrote or buys me a coffee, you know? So what you need is to use analytics to be able to show that you have the listenership. You have an audience. And I use PodTrack. It's completely free, the one I use. They have paid memberships, but it gives you analytics and you can actually get potential sponsors through there. So that might be a good idea. Like I said, you can start off completely free. They give you a link to attach when you're uploading the file. That way, it refers back. You set up, takes about 5-10 minutes. That way, you can also see trends in your podcast and see which episodes do better, which episodes do worse. And that's basically it. You just have to hit record. It's going to be hard. I've been podcasting for, nearly a decade now. And on my main Books by Josh audio immersion, I've hit over 100 episodes, which is horrible in all those years, but hitting record is very hard. And that's it for really this episode. If you liked it, make sure you subscribe because next episode's definitely not going to be like this. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.